So much stuff is said about you that because you're so banned, you can't respond to. And this is like the craziest thing, because I'll watch something and I'll go, Alex should be on his show refuting that. And I know you are, but it's not anywhere that anybody can see. And one of the things that I watched was at January 6th, I watched you tell the protesters to not enter the Capitol, to be peaceful. You said, we're not Antifa. We're not going to burn things down. This is what they want. We're not going to give it to them. That has never been played on mainstream media. They have never played any video footage of you telling protesters to not breach the Capitol, which is literally what happened. And I want to play that clip in a minute. Speaking to you off air, a lot of things are now coming out about January 6th that changed the picture a little bit from what people thought was that was just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I want to know if you can illustrate some of that for us, because I know that this directly impacts you. It affects you. You were there. You were there to protest what you felt was a sham election.
Anomalies, yes.
Right. Election anomalies. You were not there to breach the Capitol, and you were telling your supporters to not breach the Capitol. But there were people in the crowd encouraging violent behavior, agitating, leading. And now it's coming out that some of those people are from an interesting origin.
Absolutely. And it's a giant story, and it's bigger than January 6th for Trump or any of that, whether you love Trump or hate him. I've got a love-hate relationship with him. It's that we had 1 million people at the Ellipse for his rally on the 6th. Then they said, Alex, lead a march down there. Well, the hundreds of thousands already gone to the Capitol before I ever got in the middle of it. I said, how do I lead this? So I was telling the crowd, be peaceful. It's a big crowd. All our other rallies have been peaceful. And we get down there and tear gas is already getting fired and all this stuff's happening. And I didn't know that out of 1 million people and hundreds of thousands with the Capitol, that a few hundred attacked police and broke in. And I was up there saying, stop it, don't go in. And then the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times by that afternoon said Alex Jones was there leading the attack, saying attack the Capitol, even though we had the video, but it was only on Infowars.com.
Right.
It was only on Band.video. No one else outside of our footage could see that and know that. Since then, it's gotten on Twitter and gotten tens of millions of views of us there getting huge amounts of people that the doors have been opened once they broke through, waving people back and keeping people from going in. Then I got subpoenaed. I got deposed by the January 6th committee. They were trying to indict me. They did arrest Owen Schroyer and my camera guy, Sam Monteo, that were there with me being totally peaceful.
Yeah.
But I was too well known. I was the guy up there loud saying, don't go in. But they were with me. So the feds, when they arrested them, indicted them, and they're still facing trial, our guys haven't done a plea bargain yet, so their trials are coming up. They said Owen Schroyer broke into the Capitol and attacked people.
Right.
He was with me. He was trying to stop it.
Right.
So when you see them filing in court things like saying the Loch Ness Monster, is our president, or the Easter Bunny, is real, you're like, it's next level when you're experiencing things that are totally fraudulent, but because you're banned on all the major platforms, you can't respond. They have a blank check. So censorship isn't just about silencing people. You can then steal their identity.
Right.
And you can then say whatever you want in their voice or take things out of context. And that's what's so dangerous about censorship. But now we have Matt Taibbi and the Twitter files, and great job Elon Musk, and all of it coming out that agencies and governments and big tech with media, we're working in coordination to surveil what people are saying, and have been censoring millions of people for years, including during the Trump administration. So that's all coming out. I know you were telling me before we went live here, or before we started taping the show, that you've got some of those clips, but this is just an amazing moment to be alive. Plus, they've got the Proud Boys trial going on in D.C., and just a few days ago, it began to break. They've had federal filings. I've got copies of it. We can do an overhead shot here, maybe, if your guys punch it up, where the feds accidentally gave a bunch of files to the defense with stuff like, we've been ordered to delete 300 plus files. We've been ordered to cover up they were nonviolent. We've been ordered. Now they're declaring today national security in D.C., saying these are top secret documents. So they are in full. Remember the Whitmer kidnapping plot where it turned out the feds, again, accidentally handed over stuff they wanted to cover up?
Yeah.
And it was them ordering, like these potheads to attack Whitmer. And they were like, oh, I don't want to. Can I have money for a Big Mac?
Right.
Can I have a dime bag of weed? It's in the recordings.
Right.
And they never attacked the lady.
Yeah.
So the first group got off, but the second time the judge covered it up, they all got convicted. So the point is the same group that led the attack on Whitmer that never happened were intimately involved, the same unit of the FBI in January 6th. That's not coming. I mean, look at this document.
These are documents that are now they're national security. Are they classified? Are they...
Just today, the judge is declaring them classified, but this is the federal filing, so I won't show the classified documents. I'll show the federal filing in here that's now been put up by a bunch of even mainstream journalists like Julie Kelly. It says right here, edit out, they were present, that the feds were there leading the group, and then it describes in one line here, and I guess the crew could probably pull this up, where they say, here it is, Miller's communications with another agent who states the agent's FBI boss assigned 338 items of evidence I had to destroy.
Why would they want to do that?
Destroying evidence is a felony.
Why would they want to destroy the evidence? Wouldn't they want more evidence?
Well, because they were leading it.
Of course, yeah. Well,
and that's why they're trying to block Tucker releasing the raw footage. And on Tuesday...
And you see these videos of people opening doors, allowing people in the Capitol. There's a video of the QAnon shaman guy with the fucking hat with the horns. He's being led around the Capitol by multiple police, opening doors.
And led into the Senate chamber.
Yeah.
And he thought he was with Q. He thought they were with him and this was a coup.
Right.
I had him on 2 days after. He's like, no, the police were with me. They let me in. We're winning. We're taking over. And I said, no, dude, you've been set up.
Right.
And I felt so sorry for him. Now, 4 years in prison.
Yeah.
Nonviolent. Turns out he's schizophrenic.
Right.
He was kicked out of the Navy for being schizophrenic. I've talked to his family, people that know him. Really nice guy, nonviolent.
Yeah.
And they've now framed a schizophrenic as the leader of a mastermind operation.
Can we play the clip of Alex's War where we have Alex with a bullhorn on January 6th telling people to not be violent? Because this, by the way, will be the first time a lot of people have seen this on a public platform, because it is you telling the protesters at January 6th to not engage in
I was
violence.
about to say, you're sticking your neck out here, because
yeah,
the only place until Elon Musk took over Twitter, this was allowed nowhere.
Right.
And obviously, I don't want to attack the Capitol. I don't want to go to jail. What does that makes us look like idiots?
Right.
But they're trying to say, I showed up in the middle of it and was like, what the hell? Don't go in.
Well, I was watching it with friends at my house, and I was going, I turned to a friend of mine and I said, this is fucking absurd that there's a video of you telling people not to attack the Capitol that has never been seen, to my knowledge, by anybody, really. And this, again, is you telling people we're not Antifa. We don't want to burn shit down. We don't want to breach the Capitol. We want to be peaceful and make our voices heard. And it throws the whole narrative about you, about the, what they're calling, obviously, the riot, into question. And I've been a conscious human being for, 25 years, maybe. And it's shocking to me how quickly this stuff is debunked now. Things would happen. It would take years. With JFK, it took years. People writing books and going to libraries and looking up articles and, hurting their eyes, squinting at these little pieces of paper. Now, within a matter of weeks and months, all of these narratives are collapsing.
And that's what scares me. I'll be honest. It does scare me that I can't get this out anywhere. Obviously, I don't want to attack the Capitol. We wanted to protest and have a 10-day Senate investigation. I showed up. Tear gas literally hit me from 200 yards away. People were climbing scaffolding. I saw riot police. They were attacking police. I'm like, no, don't do it. Then I went to the police and I said, I know you have a loudspeaker system. They use it that night, super loud, like the voice of God. Leave the Capitol. You're not allowed to be here. I went to the police. They got a captain. I said, it's on video. Yeah. It's on our... my security had the cop cams, the what do you call those, body cams? Body cams. And I say, look, I know you have this loudspeaker system that's the voice of God. because by 7 o'clock at night, leave out of the area, martial law, do not be here. I mean, it's like, I am Oz. I mean, it's super freaking 5,000 dB.
Yeah.
And they said, and we later learned their commanders would not respond for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So they were actually saying, give us the PA system, what I was saying.
Yeah.
And they were just ordered to stand there with their thumbs in their asses. So I don't blame the cops. And, you know, no cops died that day. One guy died of a stroke the next day. I mean, the cops did get attacked. It was wrong. 5 citizens died.
Have you heard that there are suicides with the Capitol Police?
Yeah, that's what happened. That's when the few that died later were suicides and one was a stroke.
Okay.
But my issue is the Attorney General of the U.S. 2 days ago came out and said 5 officers were murdered that day. Tucker Carlson's lying about the 5 officers. In fact, I know your crew's in there. Guys, find that clip.
Yeah.
It's like 15 seconds. Everybody knows now that nobody died that day but 5 citizens.
Right.
So Ashley Babbitt and others. So they're still, that's what I'm saying. They're saying 5 officers died that day. It's on record they didn't. Like, why are they so confident to lie like that?
Well, because I think the reality is a lot of people aren't paying attention. A lot of people don't have access to the information, right? A lot of people aren't going to.
That's what they're counting on.
They're counting on that. They count on that. I was looking at it. I've now watched a lot of that footage. I've watched it on planes when they're about to take off. I've watched it when I'm in hotel rooms on the road doing comedy. And I'm going, something doesn't make sense. Something's off. You're telling people, do not attack. It's gotten completely away from you. There are people that are being led into this building by, it looks like, uniformed Capitol Police.
100 they sent more than half the police away for crowd control at the Ellipse, mile and a half away.
Right.
By the White House where Trump was giving a speech. So you get there, and there's like 50 cops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a football game, a championship or a basketball game. There's 1 million people there in the town, 100,000 in the stadium. A few hundred riot. You don't blame the whole stadium. So a few hundred did attack the police who tear gassed them. The police didn't have the numbers they needed. They got attacked. They did get beat up. It was wrong. People like Ray Epps are ramming signs into him saying, go into the building. But he doesn't get in any trouble. And by the way, he told the January 6th Commission under oath, I orchestrated the attack on the Capitol. Why is he not indicted? But my co-host, Owen Schroyer, is.
Well, there's a lot of people that behaved poorly, clearly. There's a lot of people that got excited, agitated, angry. They did not act. Mob psychology. They didn't act like a responsible citizen. They didn't do what you asked them to do. But then you also have documents coming out right now saying that this thing potentially, or maybe definitely was led by federal informants, federal agents.
Well, I mean, I know people at the highest levels of the Proud Boys trial, and I have the federal filing right here, but again, this is the beauty of the universe.
Yeah.
They literally handed over the secret files of the FBI. They thought they deleted it. It was an attached file, and it's all how they had informants in the Proud Boys. The informants said they're not violent.
Right.
That famous Stuart Rhodes Oath Keeper Enrique Tarrio meeting on January 5th in the parking garage, they were talking about defending people, protecting against Antifa. The informants are like, there was no talk of this. They're saying delete the evidence of the informants from the trial.
So they can't find a lot of evidence of a pre-planned insurrection, like a pre-planned riot, a pre-planned insurrection. Like they don't have evidence of these people conspiring to do this.
No.
Okay.
And so instead, they cherry pick what the informants say and edit out like 90% of it.
Right.
And then and then so the judge says, well, we can't tell you who the informants are, but here's what they said. And then it's an edited thing the informant said.
Right. When you're there, are you feeling a vibe that something's off, something's getting away from you?
I mean, let me recount that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just give you a straight up recount. I get up at 7 a.m. hungover in a suite at the Willard Hotel. I've been doing interviews the whole night before. We order breakfast, we drink coffee, I have sex with my wife, and I say, I got a hangover, let's order a bottle of whiskey. So we get like a small bottle of whiskey, we drink it with coffee. My wife goes, I just want to stay here. I don't want to go to this. I'm exhausted. I say, no, baby, let's go. So we walk outside the Willard, that's right with the Ellipse. And it literally takes us an hour and a half with like 15 security, like in a mosh pit, to battle through these crowds and get the so-called VIP lane to go in. Because there's 1 million people outside and 40,000.
Are there? So there's actually 1 million people at this event.
Yeah, it's the ellipse, the monument, it's just all, but only 40,000 can get in the actual cordoned off part with Secret Service where Trump's speaking. So it's all surrounding people who can't get in. We have to fight through all that, get in. I'm sitting here going, damn, that whiskey's wearing off. And so we finally get through, like a mosh pit. I'm exhausted. My wife's like, I want to go home. I don't like this. Roger Stone's calling me saying, I don't like this. I can get to the crowd. I'm going home, blah, blah, blah. It's a clusterfuck. And I sit down for like 3 hours of Republicans giving boring speeches. And my wife's like, my feet are freezing off. Honey, let's just go back to the hotel and take a hot bath. And her instinct's like, I have a bad feeling. She literally says, let's go back to the hotel, suck your dick. Let's just, I'm being honest, I'm being humble. This is the conversations we're having. She goes, baby, let's just go eat food.
Which would have in hindsight been the better plan.
No, I mean, she actually said this.
Yeah.
And she's never, women's instincts, like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I want to go. I don't want to go to the Capitol. And I'm like, baby, shut up. And finally, Trump comes out. We're watching all the Republicans peacock behind the stage. We're in the front row. All this stuff's going on. And then the Secret Service and these people, these feds come in, they go, Mr. Jones, Trump wants you to lead the march. 30 minutes before he's done, we will open the gate. You will go out to Pennsylvania Avenue and lead the march. And I'm sitting there and I'm already watching crowds that are tired of sitting around us hearing Trump speak, led by Antifa, led by the feds, led by all this. They're already all marching down towards the Capitol. And I'm going, how do I, with a bullhorn, because my security's waiting outside the bullhorn. I go, how do I leave? They go, Trump will be there, don't worry. It's all a setup, not by Trump, but by them. So finally, they open the gate in the front stage. Trump's still speaking. I'm like, Trump's like 30 feet away, right here on the stage. I walk around, and I'm in the back of the stage, and I'm with all these Republicans, and I go, I need to go to the bathroom. And the feds are like, no, Mr. Jones, you got to go right now. Meanwhile, they were timing me to be there right when the breach happened. And I go, no, I got to go to the bathroom. My wife's like, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. My wife's like, I'm leaving, honey. My feet are hurting. It's so cold out here. I didn't know I wore the wrong shoes. I go, baby, you go back to the hotel. I'll find out what's going on. I don't think I can even lead this march. I'll see you. She leaves with a lady she was with. So one of the event organizers. So I go in the bathroom, take care of things, get out. I'm on Pennsylvania Avenue. Already like hundreds of thousands are marching. And I go, how am I supposed to lead this? I go, this needs to be peaceful. Because people are like, F you, we're going to, So I get up on one of the platforms, have these big planters, like 20 feet above the roads. So I get up this big tree planter and I go, be peaceful. This is all on video. Be peaceful.
Let's play that right now, because that's a video I want people to see. If we
The only reason I'm taking time is, this is the whole, I mean, I'm being honest, like, I drank whiskey. I banged my wife. I ate, a freaking scrambler. I mean, this is like what happened. And then what happens when I get there is more insane. But go ahead and play the clip.
Let's play the clip.
Listen to me. We've got a permit on the other side. It's great that this happened, but the Trump's not going to come when we've taken this over. We're not Antifa. We're not BLM. You're amazing. I love you. Let's march around to the other side, and let's not fight the police and give the system what they want. We are peaceful. We won this election, and as much as I love seeing the Trump flags flying over this, we need to not have the confrontation with the police. They're going to make that the story. I'm going to march to the other side where we have a stage where we can speak and occupy peacefully. Tell everybody behind you, march to the other side. March to the other side. You guys are better. You guys are great. But the police, provocateurs have caused a problem, and the police are throwing flashbangs. We don't want to have a Kent State here. So, I love you. We're saving the Republic. This is beautiful. But please tell everyone you know, march to the other side. March.
Start to make a path for us back there.
We're going to march. Trump is going to speak over here. Trump is going to be on the other side. So march with us. Go slow. Come on, Nick. Yes. Tell people behind you. Come off the stage. We're not stealing the stage with the Democrats, man. You got a great job. Come down off of there. Let's peacefully. USA!
So this is, again, kind of irrefutable. You're there. You're telling people not to breach the Capitol. You're saying to stay peaceful. Obviously, it's not working because there's people that are like completely.
Well, most of them can't even hear me. I mean,
right.
Like the bullhorn goes maybe 100 yards, but what I'm saying is a timeline. You're giving me an opportunity with your huge audience. I want to tell them no. So I'm a mile and a half from the ellipse, and I'm like, how do I lead a crowd? And Trump's, because we had permitted by the Supreme Court's right here, the Capitol's here. So in between the Supreme Court and the Capitol, we had a big stage, and Trump was thinking he was coming there.
Yeah.
But Trump was set up too. So I'm like, be peaceful, be peaceful. That's another video. 20 minutes before I get there. Then I get there, people are climbing the scaffolding, there's tear gas, I see people falling off parapets. I'm like, I'm in a medieval war.
Right.
And I'm like, I better get up on this pile of chairs. They weren't even unfolded, like a stack of chairs boxed, with plastic on them for like a month from then or a few weeks from then for the inauguration. Yeah. So I climb up on top and say, don't go in. We got a lot of people not to go in because the feds and the police had opened the doors under orders. Not blaming them, they were ordered to do it. And so then I go, well, let's go to the other stage. So I go around and I talk to the police captains and people. I wait for like 10 minutes to talk to them. I go, you got to get on your loudspeakers. You got to say, get out of the Capitol. And then they wouldn't talk. They said, we can't talk to you. And I said, well, what can I do? They said, why don't you go up on the other side? They're trying to break the door in. Most people are just standing there and, talking, but like a few people are attacking the door. They said, why don't you go up there and try to get them off the door? So I go up. I say, get out of here. Come down. It's so noisy. There's all these people blaring other bullhorns. They can't hear me. I looked at my crew and I could see guys with machine guns, assault rifles, pouring in feds. And I said, I need to go home to my children. Let's leave right now. And I marched to the crowd saying, leave, leave, leave. A lot of folks listened to me and a lot of them left. But it was then learning in hindsight how they had 500 paramilitary police dressed as civilians with guns, how they had hundreds of FBI informants. And now we know FBI informants were leading the attack with the CIA. It's coming out in court on the building.
So we're going to find out if these documents are ever made public, that there is proof that there is FBI and CIA kind of collusion with people that are on the ground, leading them into the Capitol.
Yeah, if anything, Republicans are too pro-war and too pro-state.
Yeah.
But when do Republicans attack police and tear up buildings?
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
We got provocateured into it.
Yeah.
And thank God, because I can see the timing. Not all the Secret Service, but definitely the groups involved.
Yeah.
Because most of Trump's White House was run by deep state by then. Most of the people had resigned, so he only had deep state.
And there are people, no doubt, that were caught up in the fervor and did the wrong thing.
Yes, in the mob madness.
For sure.
But we now know.
Not because of what you said. That's what's interesting, right? You weren't saying that. You were not directing it. So if you're not directing it, and the Proud Boy Oath Keepers, if they don't have the proof that they're directing it, who's directing it? That's the question.
Well, Riot said he orchestrated it.
Who is that?
He was there for days on all the dozens of videos saying attack the Capitol tomorrow. He was there with ramming the sign of the police. He was commanding everybody.
Yeah.
You see him give orders, like he'll be in the crowd because they're now releasing this footage.
Yeah.
He'd be in the crowd. This was what Tucker was going to do on Tuesday, but they stopped it. And he would go, and like mechanized troops would come in, like military in Trump outfits.
And
so he would go, red zone, attack. Woo.
Right.
And they would just like, boom, like phalanx Roman soldiers attack.
Yeah.
And so they get this giant Trump sign and ram it over the police. And they ram up the doors.
The goal of this is clearly to present the idea that anybody on that side is completely unreasonable, violent, and a terrorist.
Well, that's it. And take a John Wayne movie that are based on real bar fights. I've been in a lot of bar fights, but I've been in two. Somebody punches somebody, it starts, nobody knows, everybody starts fighting. And it was like that. Once you ram over the police, once they tear gas, and once the crowd kind of gets in a fight, most of the crowd was trying to stop it. There's 1 million people, or hundreds of thousands were there, 1 million in the town. They pour in, then the feds open the doors.
Right.
And so that's what happened.